I'm sitting here at Gompers Park. So Gompers was a very special and important place in my life. So if y'all don't know where Gompers is at, it's a school here in Southeast San Diego. And in 2003 and 2004, I went to school here at Gompers, and I actually ended up graduating high school here as well. But something brought me back here today because I have a story that I wanted to tell you guys. So when I was coming here to Gompers, and how I came to Gompers is a whole different story, but when I went here back then, it was a pretty rough school. So it's a really urban school, and the good news is that back then I was an urban kid as well, so I really just fit right in. But when I was going to school here, I met a couple of good friends, and one of them in particular I wanted to tell you about today. So I really became good friends with a guy here, and over the next years we would become really good friends. And you know, I would go to his house all the time, I would hang out with his family. But then as time went on and on, he ended up getting very involved into some dangerous things, and he got more and more involved in his community, let's say. And there became a time when I realized that we had to part ways. And I think that that turning point was one day I went to go pick him up, and he got in my car and he had a backpack with him. And then as we're driving, from his backpack he pulls out this gun to show me. And I knew right away that, you know, his life was taking a dangerous turn. And you know, even though at that time, you know, I wasn't living a perfect life, I knew that the direction that he was headed was not the direction that I wanted for my life. And I knew at that point that we were going to have to part ways, and I would have to just be his friend from a distance. You know, the life that he was living, I know that it was a tough life, and I know he had a lot of struggles and challenges. But I knew in my heart that if you have to walk around with a gun on you, that, you know, your life has taken a turn. The Bible warns us, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? And at that time of my life, I wasn't living in the light necessarily, but I knew that I didn't want to live in the darkness. You know, when they came to arrest Jesus and take him away, one of Jesus's friends got violent and pulled out a sword and cut off the ear of one of the people that was trying to arrest Jesus. But even Jesus himself said, "Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword." So Jesus himself said that all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Another way of saying that you might have heard is, if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And I knew that the turn that my friend's life was taking was headed into a dangerous place. And I'm telling you this story to say that my friend and I parted ways because of this situation. And then about 4 years ago, I got the call that my friend had actually been gunned down in a drive-by shooting. So he had been shot and killed. And you know, this was a friend that was very dear to me, and it's something that really hurt my heart. You know, and unfortunately, the way that he was living, I just knew that it was a possibility. The Bible tells us that bad company ruins good morals. And as much as this person was a great friend to me, I knew that if he's somebody that's living in a way where you have to walk around with a gun, for me, at that point, he became bad company. But I'm telling you this story to say a couple of things. So, number one, if you are that person that's in that situation right now, you know, maybe you're living a way that puts you in a situation where you are being violent towards other people. Just remember that that violence will come back around. And if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. And if you live by the gun, it's very possible that you'll die by the gun. If you're stuck in a violent circle, remember, if you take revenge, somebody else might come back and take revenge on you. And God says that vengeance is his. So revenge belongs to the Lord. So remember, if you're out there trying to take revenge on others, then there might come a day when somebody comes back to take revenge on you. Another thing that I want to say is that if you are a person that has friends that are living a violent life, as much as you may love them, remember that God may be telling you that it's time to really part ways with them and love them from a distance. Now, during this time in my life, I didn't have all of those scriptures that I just read to you memorized, but God had already written the scriptures on my heart. And so in my soul, I already knew that if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And I tried to have that talk with my friend, and I tried to tell him, like, man, you need to just calm down. You know, nothing good is going to come from this. But from his perspective, he felt like he was just already in too deep. He was too deeply entrenched into that lifestyle that he felt like there was no way out. So maybe this message is for you. If you feel like there's no way out, it's not true. There is a way out. Jesus is the way out. And I know it sounds a lot easier than it might be for you, but let me tell you, if you take that step of faith and you move towards God, He will transform your life and He will give you the escape route for any situation that you're going through. If you want to change your life, you can change your life. And I know that this message may not be for everybody, but it's for anybody. Let it be for you.